Hey there, beautiful souls. As usual, I am super grateful to see you guys joining me for today's live session. And I feel like I've been away for a little while. Oh my gosh, have I been learning so much. So can't wait to be sharing a lot more of that with you guys. But today I wanted to take kind of an interesting perspective in terms of all of our connections. All right. And it might not be kind of an out there, kind of never thought of that before kind of moment, but my hope is that this will be a really great reminder and perspective shifter, because we can get so caught up in trying to do the right thing in our connections and end up really sabotaging our connections and our success. So this one is for you. If you have ever felt like you couldn't speak your truth, you couldn't speak up, you couldn't be honest, you felt like if you were honest, it was going to make a situation worse rather than better, and you've struggled with this and felt the disconnection and felt the avoidance and felt how it can really create a lot of disharmony, where ultimately you're looking to have a lot more harmony, a lot more connection, a lot more depth. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Play along at home as per usual. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. And really, I want you to think about where in your life right now, in what particular relationships right now, are there some unspoken truths that you can see are actually driving a wedge between you and another person, whether that is with your intimate partner, whether that is with a friendship, whether that is with somebody that you're in a business relationship with, or maybe that is with your kids, or, whoever that is, maybe even with your boss. I'd love to hear from you in regards to maybe like you're identifying where you have some unspoken truths that kind of are draining your energy, right? That's what we want to focus on. So identify that, because it'll make what I want to talk to you guys about today more applicable to you in your life. So I want to share, as usual, all of these messages are really ultimately about me sharing my personal journey right in the moment of what's going on. And so today's message is exactly about a current circumstance that has been occurring in my life. So I'm going to share that with you. But the title for today's message is that awkward truthfulness, all right, is a monumental leap towards the emergence of truly genuine connection, okay, which is ultimately, I believe, what we all want. At the end of the day, no matter what we do in our lives, no matter what we're going after in our lives, I really do believe that the purpose behind all of it is to love and be loved, right? That's super important, right? To every single human being, no matter who you are, walking the face of the planet, no matter whether you know that consciously or you don't, that's the ultimate driving force, right? So I want to talk about this because so many of us are killing our connections because we're unwilling to take part in an awkward truthfulness. We'd rather pretend. We'd rather hold back. We'd rather, get caught up in like our fears and our insecurities about how that other person is going to handle that. And then, and then we get all stuck, and then we want to avoid, and then things get awkward anyway, right? So I'm of the belief that I would rather consciously lean into awkwardness rather than have that awkwardness take over unconsciously and disconnect me from the people that I ultimately want to have deep and meaningful connections with. And so what happened for me more recently in my life is that a very dear friend of mine and I, we've kind of, trying to navigate some different options in our lives as to our future together and our connection and so forth. And basically, because we are both very harmony driven, right? We're both very, connected to how things are impacting the other person and so forth. We can kind of just like be a little indirect about things. And noticing those patterns is the first step, right? To notice how maybe you're not fully speaking up. Maybe you're not being totally transparent. Maybe you're holding back. And the moment you feel awkwardness or you feel depleted from a connection, you've really got to look at that. And you've really got to take ownership and responsibility about how you're showing up in that connection and whether it's generating you the results that you'd actually after in terms of genuine connection, enlivening and energizing connection, right? And so basically, I'm so grateful because today, this beautiful friend of mine actually got really honest with me. And I was so relieved, right? I was so energized by it because to me, like, we can't even have connection if we're not being 100% transparent and open and genuine and just speaking the brutal truth, right? Just getting into that awkward truthfulness. And so to me, when you value a relationship, your willingness to lean into the awkward truthfulness heightens, right? And when you are more concerned about how something's going to impact you in terms of any way that that other person is going to respond or whatever, and you get all caught up in your fears and then you want to people please or you want to dull down your truth or not speak about it, that's actually costing the connection, right? That's like the drain in the connection. So when anybody that is close to you is ever open and honest with you, you want to really nurture that, right? You want that person to be completely transparent and open and genuine with you because you have a mindset of when we're open and we're genuine, and we're truthful, no matter how awkward, we actually are putting a high value on our connection and we're not willing to let anything, trip us up on that journey of deepening the connection. We value it so much that we are willing to have momentary awkwardness in the truth telling so that it leads us towards a direction that we ultimately want rather than, not valuing the connection enough, being too caught up in the pain and the potential pain that you end up sacrificing the connection because you weren't genuine, you weren't honest, and all that does is lead to resentment, which I'm always saying is the silent killer of all connection. Really let that sit in. Resentment is the silent killer of all connection. And resentment is built when you didn't speak up. When you started sacrificing your truth because you're, for whatever reason, right? You were too scared to share it. You didn't know if you could handle it. You didn't want to upset them. Whatever the excuse is, you're leading the relationship towards resentment that kills the connection, as opposed to leaning into the awkward truthfulness so that you can ultimately propel the connection forward, right? And so this beautiful friend and I, last week, we were in our harmony and not being 100% direct with things and kind of just playing nice a little bit, right? And because we value and we care about each other, and we're also wired to want that harmony, but we left a conversation where I think both of us felt a little bit depleted by, right? We felt a little bit, like we're not really on the same page here or what's going on. And that's why, this week, today, I'm super grateful for this beautiful friend of mine who really was like, you know what, I've just got to be honest. I've just got to be really straight up about this. And I welcomed it so much because we can't have genuine connection unless we're being 100% honest with one another, right? And so so grateful for that beautiful friend. I know she'll watch at some stage. So very, very grateful for her. And I hope that me just sharing that with you, that little journey and experience, will just wake you up to the question that I asked you at the beginning of this session, which is, where is it, in what relationship in your life right now are you not being 100% transparent? There's an unspoken truth, an awkward truth that needs to be lent into, right? And just know, like, I want this message to inspire you to just speak up, just speak the truth, right? Lean into that awkward truthfulness, knowing full well that when you value the longevity and the depth of that genuine connection with another person, you're going to be willing to experience a little momentary awkwardness so that you can have long-term depth and genuineness in that connection. And know that if you opt for not doing so, if you opt to just hold back and get caught up in fear, then ultimately what you're doing is you're sacrificing your relationship, because it will only lead to resentment, which kills all connection. All right. So I hope that puts it into perspective for you to just go, you know what? Haven't been speaking up about this, haven't been being truthful about this. And you know what? I value our connection way too much to sacrifice it silently. And instead, I'm going to lean into the awkwardness. And I guarantee you this, and I'd love to hear from you, any of you guys who are courageous enough to lean into some awkward truth telling that you haven't been recently in any relationship. I'd love to hear your experience on that, because I'll tell you this. Every single time I've built up this whole thing of like, oh, I can't, speak about it. And then I finally do it, right? I finally gets enough that I have to tell the truth here. I have to be more open here. Basically, every single time I've gotten the response from the other person, which is actual total relief. Certainty, relief, honesty, transparency, authenticity cures all. Right? And if you do, anybody who cares about you and values your connection, they want you to be open and truthful with them, right? Anybody who's just trying to paint a picture and have you serve a role in their story of, whatever it is, and they don't welcome your honest truth, then, you maybe give them some time to process it and get back to you if they don't initially receive your truth in the best way. But ultimately, you've got to set a new standard for the quality of connection that you want to have. And that one of the highest values you should have in any relationship is honesty, right? Truthfulness, no matter what, no matter how painful it might first seem like it's going to be, right? So hold that high standard, give this a go, raise your bar, raise it within yourself. I'm setting a new standard in my connection. I'm going to speak up about those things that I've been holding back on. And there's always going to be a beautiful way that you can present that to one another, right, as well. Think about, there's an amazing relationship psychologist and researcher by the name of John Gottman. And so he did some research in terms of basically when you have a so-called negative to present to another person, if you really want them to hear it and take it on board without getting defensive, right, sharing that truth that you've been concerned about, give 5 positives to every 1 negative that you are going to share. And it's been proven, right? I've done this many times in my own life, and you can do it and test it out. But every time you do that sort of ratio, 5 positives. Tell them 5 positive things about them, about the relationship, what you value about the connection. And then deliver the truth. And I've got this truth that I can see could bring us closer together, could further improve our connection. And I value you enough to lean into this awkwardness so that it can benefit us and our connection, right? And then I promise you, if you do that and you do it with heart, you don't do it as a victim. You do it with heart and taking responsibility, you will find that you will take a monumental leap towards genuine connection. All right? That's my message for you guys. I'm sorry, I've been so busy. I haven't been doing a Facebook Live. I think it was 5 days ago or something, which is crazy for me, right? So I love that you guys are here today. I can't wait to check in with you. And I'm just letting you know, I got 5 minutes till my next course starts. So I am doing so much at the moment. So let me check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. Drop me some comments, say hi, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and love to hear your perspectives on this particular topic today as well. So I've got Wael and Paul and Charlie and Roxana. Yay, haven't seen you in forever. And Ulrich's here as well, and Barry and Labour and Dave and Jared. Hope you are well, my friend. Look fab as always. Thank you so much, my friend. I am grateful as always to see you live. And Roxana, hi V, hope you are well. I'm doing really well, beautiful, and I hope that you are as well. Awesome to see you. And Stephanie's here, and Judy and Jerry and Barry. Loaned a good friend money over 2 years ago who happens to rent my basement apartment from me. I had to bring it up again and now he won't speak to me. Oh, yeah. I knew getting the money back would be an issue and now it's bothering me, but I shouldn't feel bad as it appears he had no plan of paying me back. So was he ever really a friend? Oh, Barry, I feel for you with this one. And actually, I think that, money shifts gears on things, right? Because there's unspoken expectations people project, right, onto different relationship dynamics. And this has been a big challenge for me because I can tend to, a lot of my friendships are, clients who've turned into friends, right? And it's how do we navigate the relationships moving forward, right? You've got to have real clarity over that. You've got to have really defined roles. You've got to have really stated out the terms. So I always write contracts, always, right? So that it's just in black and white for everybody. This is what saves relationships. If we don't put it in black and white, if we don't have a contractual, oh my God, I can't speak, oh my God, I'm not even going to be able to say it right now, but you guys know what I mean, agreement, then we're just leaving the door open for all those expectations, for all of that disconnection, for all of that, you don't want that to be the wedge getting in your way. So I know what it is to be in your circumstance there, Barry, and it taught me that I have to make things black and white with clarity because I've got to set the standard for the connection and it's got to be laid out so there's no question about anything. And that's because I value both of us being on the same page and not letting anything drive a wedge between our connection in whatever regard that is, friendship or business relationship, whatever it is. That's just been my lesson from being in similar situations, Barry. And you know what? It might take some mediation, right? Like if you really value that connection, obviously you were both looking at it from a different perspective. So perspective shifting is key. Oh my gosh, guys, I am seriously going to be running late. But I hope that me sharing that is of value to you, Barry. I so hear you. And if you guys are ever wanting a little bit more of my personal help, I do offer free 15-minute power sessions. Just shoot me a message and I'll give you a link to my calendar. And I'd love to help you on a deeper level with that because I love getting to connect with you guys. And if I can help, I'd love to. Jerry, good to see you. Hi, Vanessa. Powerful message with love being the biggest power in the universe. Boom. I love that. Absolutely. And Coco's here as well. And Dave, you are a motivated person. I like your videos. Dave, I'm super grateful to know that you are enjoying this content. Thanks so much for those kind words and showing up today. You're so appreciated. And Thun's here as well, and Raul, and Joshua, and Shet, and Ines, and Deb, and Craig, and Barry. Thanks, Vanessa, really hitting home with how I'm feeling right now. I avoided an awkward conversation with a friend, and it didn't go well. When I finally brought it up, now I realize he's not really a good friend I thought he was. Yeah, it is sad, but also what's the lesson here? How can you make sure that a future connection or relationship doesn't have this challenge come up into play again? You might want to take on what my lesson was in terms of having contracts and making it just really clear, right? But there is still hope if you did want to reconnect with that person. It's always, every single challenge and breakdown of relationship is differing perspectives, right? Unspoken expectations. You weren't on the same page. That's why it's super, super important to get on the same page, either at the beginning or now, right? So absolutely. And Craig, seriously, thank you so much for those kind words there. You're so appreciated, my friend. Great to see you as always. And Michael's here, and Yon, speaking up speaking up early, also easier than letting things fester. Totally. Rip the Band-Aid off. Just go straight in it. And remember, people are only as honest with you as, you know, they can tell you can receive honesty as well. So when somebody is honest with you, make sure that you respond in a way that would encourage them to continue being that honest. All right. That is the absolute key. And all right, and my last little comments here. Jerry, always catch your lives. I love when you do. And Tavis is here. And truth brings out true people. Love that, Craig. And Jimmy's here as well. And Barry, absolutely great response. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Barry. Grateful that that was of value. And Craig, truth can be like a broom. It can either sweep out the crap or sweep in the good. Boom. I absolutely love that, Craig. And Marvin's here as well. And Dennis, I'm late. We'll watch a replay. Always happy to see you too, my friend. Great to have you. So I got to run. I'm running a couple of minutes late for a course I've got to dive into, but so grateful to each and every one of you who could show up and join today's message. If this has been of value to you, please do share it with anybody that you love and care about in the hope that it will serve them as well. And as usual, my reminder is go out there and live authentically. Speak up the truths, right? Love deeply through genuine connection and contribute meaningfully and purposefully. All right? That's my message to each and every one of you guys, and I will see you soon. Much love.